Hey kiddos, it's your dad here. Do you ever notice that there's people that just cannot not share everything online about their wins, about uh, their new achievement, their new car, their new life, um, all of these things. You know, there's many people that crave the perception of success rather than the reality of success. So what do I mean by that? Um, Many people tie their identity to how successful they seem. Um, their ego gets tied to their identity and the validation that they get from other people congratulating them. There's a saying that some people's net worth or some people's self worth is tied to their net worth. Um, and this really comes from fear, the fear of not not living up to that identity, the fear of not being seen, the fear of not being recognized, the fear of not being enough. In the last video that I was talking about, is how your greatest strength, your greatest pain can become your greatest strength, but also your greatest weakness. Uh, in the case of people that are constantly looking for validation from others, the that fear that causes them to strive and achieve these things may be the thing that allows them to achieve these results. But it can also be the thing that keeps them striving more and hurting other areas of their life. So, but there's also a dichotomy here. Like in the last video where I was talking about how my pain was the thing that allowed me to be able to, build and grow and achieve, but it was almost the thing that killed me. It killed me in a spiritual sense, but it could have killed me in a physical sense as well, like it does for other people. So there's people that build and they do things and they look for that validation. But then there's also people that build and do things in silence, but it's still suffering in silence. So then it's like, okay, well, you're telling me to, uh, not, you're telling me to not build and tie my, do these things in public, but then you're also saying don't do these things in private. So that there's a little nuance difference, and that's can you Who are you doing this for? Because in both of those examples, if you're building these things and sharing it with the world for validation, you can also be building things and not sharing it for the world, but still be doing it for validation. How can there be silent validation? And it all comes down to what are the right reasons why. Initially I wanted this video to be about, how doing things in silence doesn't mean that you're hiding. It means you're doing it for you, which is true to an extent. It comes down to what you're doing aligned with your values? Is what you're doing not out of fear but out of love? So for example, I might share, us moving to Japan. Let's say if we end up moving to Japan, I might share that, you know, with on Facebook, let's say, because there's, more people, and I just kind of, there's been people, everybody in my life that we talk to, everybody typically knows, like, yeah, we're trying to move to Japan. We've been going through this long visa process. And if I share that, I'm not sharing it because I want validation that it's like we achieved this thing, and we have the means to do it, and I want to share it because when I talk to people personally one on one, everybody knows, like, this is what's going on in my life, and I want to share that, because I care about them, and I know that they care about me, but not everybody's always as good about reaching out. So sharing maybe this achievement out of love. There's a difference from, let's say, you get a new car, or let's say if I got a new car, a Tesla, and then I share it, and I share this Tesla, and I share, we just got a new house, a big house in Japan, and my kid is, one of my kids is a champion at this thing, and this and this and this and this, and then and not saying that those things can't be out of love, but are you to maybe stop and ask, why do you feel the need to share these things? Because sometimes the thing that people are sharing has a hidden agenda, and it could be to be seen, to feel. It doesn't even have to do with success. Sometimes it could just be, to be validated. Am I being heard? Am I being heard? Am I being seen? Do people believe the things that I believe? Here's my stance on this topic. Am I not alone? So it's not just about succeeding in silence, but it's are you living in the right with the right intention? What is the intent? What is the intention of what you're doing? And if you recognize that what you're doing is out of fear, then maybe it is better to just do things in silence, because in the silence is when you can reflect on what it is that you're doing with your life. Why are you doing these specific things? Because you're not getting feedback from other people. The only feedback that you have is from yourself. And people can mask that that internal feedback. But you have to remove your own mask first. For yourself, before you can be aware of the mask that you show to other people. Like I say, the greatest lie is the lie that you repeat to yourself. So I'm not saying don't share things. I'm not saying to be, you know, to be this super stoic that you can't share, that other people don't deserve it, and this is all just for you, and to be completely, selfish. Um, but I'm saying to just be aware of the intention of what it is that you're doing. Like I said, you can still suffer in silence by thinking that not sharing is for yourself. And it comes down to the intention of, is what I'm doing out of fear or love? Is it a fear of me sharing my achievements because I am afraid that is it a fear of me sharing my achievements that I won't be seen, or that I won't, uh, yeah, that I won't be seen, or that I'm not living up to my, or that I'm not living up to my identity? Or is it a fear that I'm not, that, or is it a fear that I am not sharing because I'm also afraid of maybe the response that I'll get? Maybe I'm afraid to not share because I'm afraid that people won't care. So I just don't do it. in the first place. I don't share in the first place because I'm afraid that people won't care, or not enough people will care. Maybe the only person that cares is myself. And that can be a fear. I feel that a lot of this all comes down to expectations for ourselves. The expectation that we set on ourselves. Maybe it's based on what we see of other people. Maybe it's expectations that are set based on what we're listening to. So yeah. So build for integrity, not for image. True peace comes from integrity. When your actions match your values and not your followers or family or anybody else's expectations that you might set for yourself. You don't need to be perceived as successful. You just need to feel at peace with your path. And as soon as you've done that, you're successful and you've won. And that's the end of it. So, yeah, that's about it.